Maybe you've heard of the Chinese brand Hongqi, but I guarantee you have never seen Hongqi cars like this.
With hands-on test drives and reviews of exciting Chinese market vehicles, Wheelsboy is the #1 source for China auto insights. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook.
Behind me is the Hongqi L5. Hongqi is China's oldest car brand, and the Hongqi L5, at least the previous generation of this vehicle, served as the official vehicle for China's top officials. This thing has a very vintage style to it and always has, particularly here on the front end. Looks like it drove straight out of the 1940s. This thing measures almost 6 meters in length. That's right, this Hongqi is a honker. That guy's got quite a job on his hand trying to clean off this entire car. We don't know the official powertrain for this vehicle, but the previous Hongqi had a V12, one of the few Chinese-developed V12 engines ever produced. This one, well, maybe it'll be an EV, and if it is, I bet it's going to weigh a whole lot. Price for one of these babies? Somewhere around $1 million US. Looking for something a little bit more affordable? How about this? The Hongqi LS7. This is their 4- or 6-seater full-size SUV with prices between $200,000 and $215,000 US. Did you feel like the L5 was a little bit too, I don't know, subtle? Well, that's what the LS7 is here for. This thing is the most dominating looking design I have ever seen, from the huge grille to the sheer height of it. There's also the details like the LED daytime running lights and headlights, which are actually down here, by the way, and the signature Hongqi logo, which is this red flag kind of thing that runs all the way to the middle of the massive hood. Underneath that hood, by the way, a 4-liter twin-turbo V8 motor making 265 kilowatts and 500 newton meters of torque. That's pretty good power, but this thing weighs a ton. 5.7 meters in length. Official 0 to 100 km/h time is 9.1 seconds. The other advantage of the 4-seater version, you get an unbelievable amount of cargo space. I literally cannot reach all the way to the seat back there. It's too deep. Some of you may remember our review of the Hongqi EHS9 SUV. I described the interior of that car as pretty traditional. This, though, this is downright baroque. Wood trim everywhere, absolutely everywhere, and tons of physical buttons for more or less every feature, from the seating functions, of course, massaging, cooling, and heating, as well as here, air conditioning and multimedia with these controls here. You also, of course, have a touch screen in the center, which the UI, which is actually quite similar to the EHS9. Space is, unsurprisingly, absolutely insane. Headroom, crazy. Holy, talk about crazy. Check out this headliner. Not only does this thing have kind of the stargazing pattern that you see in some Rolls Royces, it also has a very cool, what looks to be some kind of wave pattern. In fact, there's a lot of patterns and designs that are clearly inspired by traditional Chinese art, everywhere from the logo in here and the trim on the door, to this above my head, to the door trim itself. On either side, there's a quilted kind of cloth area that has horses drawn in a traditional Chinese style. And finally, little details. Things like here on these grab handles. Notice the Chinese style kind of design, as well as these here. Oh, wow. This is my first time actually spinning one of these. That feels fantastic. That's not something you get in a regular Hongqi, or indeed most regular cars. There is a 6-seater version of this car, which of course have a 3rd row, but this is the top spec 4-seater, the $215,000 US version. As such, you have a fixed center console. You guys can see on this side, these are your controls for all your seating functions, of which there are very, very many. Of course, there's adjustability for things like brake, as you can see, like this. There's adjustability for legs. There is a leg support down there. You also have a ton of seat functions like heating, cooling, and massage in there somewhere as well. This is also the area where you have your physical controls for your air conditioning and your multimedia. Multimedia is where? Well, it's here, mounted on this screen on the back of both seats. Material quality in here, quite nice. Oh, real wood trim and very convenient and large work tables, like so. Oh, there we go. Real metal. Solid piece right there. But if you're really strapped for cash, say you only have 125 to 170,000 US dollars, you might want to think about the H9 Plus, the extended wheelbase version of Hongqi's H9 sedan. The extended wheelbase is 3.26 meters. That means the entire car is over 5.3 meters. A couple of interesting details. Obviously, this special version has a two-tone paint job, black on the top, red on the bottom. This car, the L5 and the LS7 are all part of a special series from Hongqi, their highest level vehicles known as the Golden Sunflower series. This is the official badge for the H9 Plus. As you can see, it is a plus and a 9. Makes sense. Here on the wheel, you can see the official logo for the Golden Sunflower series. You can think of this series as something like the Toyota Century. It's the highest level vehicles available, and it's usually only sold to high-ranking members of the government. The interior of this particular H9 Plus has some specific options that have been chosen, including this special wood trim here. Real wood, very nice, and open pore. Other than that, the interior is largely similar to an H9 with the addition of a lot of these Golden Sunflower logos. Oh, wow. Three-dimensional. Feels very nice. And then also one here on the shift lever. Huge amounts of space in here. I'm told that with this series, they don't do what a lot of companies do, which is only add wheelbase and then add space in the back seat. They also increase cabin space for the front passengers. And having driven a standard H9, you can definitely tell the difference. A final note, check out this ceiling. Rolls-Royce style stargaze ceiling. But the back seat is where the ballers like to spend their time, and for good reason, because it is incredibly comfortable back here. This wheelbase means that there is insane amount of space for your legs. You can't even see it because this is the divided 4-seat version. This console here has a lot of features built into it. Let's start from the front. This is the fragrance dispenser. There are 4 different fragrances. These are controlled by the touchscreen back here. In between these two is a cup holder area, as well as 2 USB ports and a 220-volt outlet. Ooh, very nice. Close that up. Wireless charging pad right here. And again, the touchscreen. This is used to control your seat functions, which of course are heating, cooling, massaging. You also have seat adjustability for your leg bolsters down here, as well as adjustable rake, which I will demonstrate by coming forward a little bit, actually. Very, very comfortable. Finally, here you have a storage area and the piece de resistance, a wine chiller. Real wood trim back here too. As the icing on the cake for today's video, we're going to be giving you a look at this, the ELS concept car. This EV SUV is part of the LS series, which is the same as the LS7. This is, of course, a concept. All we know is that it has an electric powertrain underneath, and I would suspect this will inspire some of the designs in future Hongqi models. As you can see, the interior design is even more exaggerated and perhaps fantastical than the exterior design is. Lots of interesting things going on with the gold trim and all these amazing lights. That dashboard made of clear glass with the built-in lights, very, very cool. Notice, no steering wheel. I guess this imagines a driverless future. That's going to do it for our tour of Hongqi's most exclusive models. Now I'm going to walk out that door and probably never see one of these things on the road ever again.